Detroit Den 313. We're back. Steve, nail biter. All right. Before we get this thing rolling, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, but I'm too excited to even harp on that. Steve, do you have any nails left?
Absolutely. But I will say this, there's an open investigation to the theft we just did to the Chicago Bears because we just stole that game. Stole it. Ugly game. Listen, I don't care about, like, a lot of people talk about, oh, the Lions, it looked ugly. They didn't cover the spread. I don't give a shit if they didn't cover a spread. You know how many times the Detroit Lions have been on the opposite end of that game? Yeah. Where we have a 2-score game with 4 minutes left and end up losing too many times. So sometimes it's nice to, if you can't tell, my voice it's on the fritz.
We're doing a little screaming.
Yeah, I almost passed out, but I'm just saying, sometimes as Lions fans, I'm never going to complain about getting a win unless it's like we're trying to tank. But just to seal up that game there at the end and steal one, because we're going to talk about it. I think the Bears kind of handed it to us the last few minutes of the game, but we'll get into that a little bit. How are you feeling, Will?
I feel great, man. We talked a little bit, not much, but just a couple minutes before we came on, and I told you I wasn't nervous one bit. I know you think I'm crazy, but I just felt like we were the better team and we were gonna get it done, and we'll get into that, man. But I feel good about it, man. Sitting at 8-2. I don't know what the Minnesota Vikings did today.
They played tonight.
Okay, I know the Packers won, but either way, we're in control of this thing. Those Vikings take a L. We'll be get a 2-game lead, having to play those guys twice coming up. So I feel good about it, man.
And if we're talking seeding, the Eagles play tomorrow night against the Chiefs. So as Lions fans, we got to be big Broncos fans tonight and big Chiefs fans tomorrow. So, I mean, not to say that the Lions are in control of their own destiny, so it doesn't really matter. But it's just nice to kind of maybe get a little cushion here and there.
I agree.
So, with every win, we have to be critical of some things, right? We did not play a perfect game today. We would both agree on that.
I think the world would agree on that.
What would be your biggest concern? Something that needs to be cleaned up?
My biggest concern is our third quarter woes, man. Like, coming out of halftime, again, no points in the third quarter. The Bears pretty much held the ball the whole third quarter, just marched down the field on us. And then when we got the ball after half, did nothing with it. So, I mean, that was something that we talked about during our bye week, coming back, getting after it in that red zone, and then coming out of halftime hot. And I definitely didn't see that today. So,
no, especially getting the ball after halftime too. Like that's something I pay attention to that coin flip, because I always want that ball after halftime. I want to try to double up in the first half, get a touchdown, come back, get the ball after halftime, and put it in the end zone again. Mm-hmm. My concern today, man, it's not a hot take, Jared Goff. I mean, we talked about it on our pregame show. I was very specific on what Goff had to do today. Take care of the ball, move the chains. He did not do that today. He did not start playing good football until there was about 4 minutes left in the game. 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions, easily could have been 4. That halfway through the second quarter, when we got that second touchdown, he almost threw a pick six on our end zone, and he would have walked right in. I mean, he dropped the ball. He could have literally, did a Deion high step the whole way down the field. There was no one over there. So 3 interceptions, almost 4, maybe even 5. But I'm not going to nitpick too much. But Goff's just got to take better care of the ball, plain and simple.
I'll be honest, I'm not worried about Jared, man. I know it's harder because today I wasn't there. Had some personal things going on, so I didn't make the game today. But being able to watch the game from home, I think it gave me a better visual of the game from a 360-degree view. And the first interception, Brisker ran into Laporta, right? So if Brisker doesn't run into Laporta catch that thing in stride, right? He's cutting that ball off. It was going straight to him in stride. And then the other pass was tipped. The one that the linebacker picked off. Now that was a bad ball, right? So 2 of the interceptions I'm looking at, they weren't Jared Goff's fault. You can't control Laporta running into somebody and him, getting out of the play on a timing route where you're, putting your back foot in the dirt and letting it fly. And then you can't control really a tip pass either. So when I look at those situations, man, the combination of that was why I wasn't worried about this game. The only thing that I was worried about is the defense getting a stop. I said to myself when we were down 2 scores, hey, all we got to do, get a quick score, get a stop, get the ball back in Jared's hands, and we're off to the races, man. I love the way he just was poised throughout this game. No matter what was going on, the floodgates were open. He could have easily took that "woe is me" mentality and said, "Oh my God, this is just a bad night," and just packed it in. But like we talk about all the time, Dan Campbell's got these kneecap biters ready. They were resilient. He looked like he was cool as a cucumber when he came out for that scoring go ahead drive, and he just marched us down the field, man. So I'm loving Jared, man. Still,
He had ice water in his veins, but I'm not worried about Goff. Just we'll chalk it up as a bad game for him. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not worried. Still my guy. Still want to see him in Detroit for the I don't know if the foreseeable future is the phrase to use, but I want to see him in Detroit for the next few years.
I hear that, man, but Twitter does not feel the way that you feel. I will tell you that. Twitter
was
hammering.
And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be real critical of myself. I'm an emotional fan. When things are not going well, I was thinking, is Jared Goff my guy still? Yeah. And I sent my buddy a text like, dude, I'm done with Goff. Yeah. And I even had to tell him, like, I was emotional. Doesn't come, I'm different. Had to drive home. I sit back and I look at it like, all right, now would I still be saying that had we lost? Yes, because Jared Goff is an above average quarterback. He's not elite. He's not a game changer, but he's really good. And it's hard to get better at the quarterback position. So still my guy. I was frustrated and I apologize, Jared. I still love you.
Yeah, I think with that, man, that's what we say on the podcast. He's not a game manager. He's above a game manager, but he's not elite. So with that being said, I want somebody that's elite. That's all I'm saying. So if I get the opportunity to get somebody elite, I would do that. But other than that, Jared is the guy. But it goes back into that thing, and we won't turn this into a should we pay him or not pay him. But again, guys, all you guys that were hammering us about the conversation that we had about to keep Jared or not keep Jared, remember we keep receipts. So one, I seen a couple of you posting some things on Twitter that contradicted some of the things that you said in our comments. That was one. Two, remember 45 to 50 million is what we're going to have to pay a guy who struggled the way that he struggled a little bit today in your eyes. So think about that and don't, because I'm just, people are so critical, man, about us even asking the question when he's playing well. But when he has days like this, it's like throw him out of the window and get rid of him. So
send him to the moon.
Yeah.
Real quick, I do want to have a conversation. I feel like, again, we're 8-2. I'm happy. I'm thrilled. Lifelong Lions fan. We've seen the Lions lose every way possible. We've seen new rules made for the Lions. I'm never going to feel bad about winning a game. But I will say I think the Bears, we stole it, and they literally left the door open and gave it to us. I think – I don't know what Matt Eberflus, the Chicago Bears head coach, was thinking. When he has the ball and it's 4th and 1 and they kicked that field goal, I said that's where they just made a mistake. If they go for that 4th and 1 and they get it, it's pretty much game over. So thank you, Matt Eberflus, for kicking it. I understand you wanted to go up 2 scores, but I think they really could have took control of that game, chewed up probably 4 or 5 more minutes. If you don't trust Justin Fields to do the read option for the 48th time in an NFL game and get you 1 yard, and I don't know. So I'm happy you made that decision.
Yeah, I mean, first things first, I'm going to tell you, if you run read option on 4th and 1, you're going to have some problems because there's going to be a lot of penetration, most likely. But I don't blame him, man. I can't blame him for just taking those points and making it a 2-touchdown game to win it. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things to where you're darned if you do and you're darned if you don't. So I get why he made the decision, especially a guy that's trying to be conservative, and he's really fighting for his job. So if he makes the bold decision and then it goes awry and they don't get it on 4th down, and then we got the momentum and we march down and score, they might be off with his head at midfield at Ford Field. You know what I mean? So it's got to, I don't know. I feel where he was coming from, which just make the conservative decision, go up 2 scores, and then trust your guys to play some D, which they had.
I'm glad you said that, William. I'm glad you said conservative decision, because I flip it and I say, if that's the Detroit Lions, we just did it last week. Put the game in your hands. Keep the game on your offense. Don't kick the ball and then give us a chance with 4 minutes left or however much time was left. Dan Campbell, 4th and 1, he would have went for that. He would have said, I'm fucking putting this game away.
Yeah, I get it, man. But Dan Campbell isn't fighting for his job. I think that when you have job security and you have confidence behind you, a team that believes in you, a front office that believes in you, those decisions get a lot easier.
While we're on the topic, I check Twitter, pretty often during games, see what's going on when there's timeouts, whatnot. Let's have a conversation about Aaron Glenn.
Let's talk about it.
Because I've seen a lot of people wanting him shipped out as well.
People weren't saying nice things.
No, they weren't. So how
How
do
do
you
you
feel
feel about it?
about Aaron? Listen, you're never going to fire a coordinator when your team's 8-2, guys. Just get that through your heads. If we're 5-5, 3-7, we can have a conversation. A NFL team will never shake things up when you're in first place overall in the NFC as it stands right now. It's not going to happen. Aaron Glenn's not going anywhere. Your best bet is that maybe we start figuring some things out. Maybe we get a little better, and Aaron Glenn becomes a head coach next year. That's the only way he's leaving. He's not getting fired this year. So let's just squash that right now.
Are you comfortable with the defense?
No, I do think it could be better. I love our secondary. I love our linebackers. The only aspect of this team I worry about is pass rush. I think pass rush can change games. It can create chaos, create turnovers, and I just haven't seen it enough the last probably 4 or 5 weeks. I know Hutch got the game sealing sack today. That's great. Showed up when we needed him. I love to see it. But just throughout the game, it's like, man, like where is it? Like where is that guy? Where's that guy that's just going to go out on these 3rd and 12s and just make something happen?
I think that, and this is going to be a hot take, so get ready. I'm putting my boxing gloves on, and I'm ready to post my address. Come see me in the streets, guys, if you got a problem with what I'm about to say. I have 0 issues with Aaron Glenn today. Zero issues. And here's why. Was there ever a time today where you saw our defense didn't have a guy where they needed to be? Like somebody was just wide open, and you were like, man, why is this play just wide open? Nobody's there.
There was a couple like play action boots where I saw, I think it was Cole Kmet kind of squeaked out, and he was kind of like 5-6 yards open, but it was nothing like a blown coverage for a 75-yard touchdown.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about squeaking out underneath routes and misdirections when like you got a running quarterback back there and he's faking like he's booting out one way and completely reversing out the other way, and the linebackers are running with him. Right. And then this guy's booting out or Komet sneaking out for like a 7-8 yard route. I'm talking about blown coverages. I'm talking about us looking like we were unprepared and they were out scheming us. So what really happened today? Defensive ends and linebackers didn't play well against this read option. And what is Aaron Glenn supposed to do? Put on shoulder pads and play for him? There was so many times where Justin Fields was just playing games with our DNs or just playing games with our linebackers coming downhill, and they were grasping for air and grasping for cloth and missing, right? So what do you guys expect Aaron Glenn to do when they're running read option and you have somebody doing their job, as in cutting off the running back and choking them off, right? And then you got another guy, right, that is supposed to be on the quarterback, right? And then the quarterback jukes them out of their shoes. Do you want Aaron Glenn to run to the sideline and make the play?
Yes.
All right. So, guys, here's what I'll challenge you to do. Go on all 22 or rewatch the game. If you recorded it, I know a lot of people got DVRs. You can probably find it on YouTube. And if you guys are really feeling froggy, I'll post my all 22 password, and you show me that I'm wrong. We had guys in position to make plays on the read option. They did not make plays. That's not on Aaron Glenn. That's on NFL guys that should be responsible and accountable for making plays. So get off of this dude, man. Until we go out and they run read option on us, and then we don't have anybody on the quarterback and on the running back, then we can start talking about Aaron Glenn being terrible. When Jerry Jacobs isn't getting beat by DJ Moore just running by him, right? Then we can talk about this Aaron Glenn. Do you want Aaron Glenn to cover DJ Moore for him?
Yes.
Like, and I'm not even a big, huge Aaron Glenn guy or whatever, but sometimes you guys come for these guys, man, and they're scheming things correctly. They're scheming things up with a guy in position to make a play. As a coach, that is all that you can do. You can't put on the shoulder pads. You can't play the games. You can't do anything else. That would be like us nailing Aiden Hutchinson to the cross for not getting sacks. I don't hear many people doing that, where there's a few asking where he was at here and there and here and there. But if he has no help, there's only so much that you can do. So, guys, it would behoove you to watch and tell me where it's consistently us getting out schemed and us not being prepared, because I'll tell you that it's not as a football guy.
So real quick, Justin Fields, what is he known for? He's an athletic quarterback. What's an athletic quarterback's best play? A read option. He does it very well. He's done it all through high school, all through college, when he played at Georgia, when he played at Ohio State. That's their bread and butter play for a quarterback just like him. Him and Lamar are probably the best quarterbacks at read option because they're so familiar with it. And you're right. Like nobody was really out of position today. And even the deep pass he hit to DJ Moore, Jerry Jacobs was right there. And I really think if he maybe gets a hand in, maybe, but he was in position to make a play. It was a great throw, great catch. Shit happens. It's football. We're not the only team who's going to go out and make plays every day.
Facts, man. Like, I would be the first one to say, man, if I'm looking at the game or if I'm looking at film and guys aren't in position to make plays, I would be the first one wanting to nail him to the cross. But I just can't hammer this guy. It's kind of turned into the JMO situation to me, man, because this guy is getting hammered every single week. Like, and then if we have a good week, it's just like, oh man, the Atlanta Falcons are trash. Like, so
Real
I mean,
quick, can I say something real quick while we're on
yeah,
this topic and we don't get too far ahead? If you
yeah,
guys want to blame Aaron Glenn, go ahead. That's your right. But if you want to blame anyone about lack of pass rush, it should be Brad Holmes because
exactly.
it was not addressed in the draft. It was not addressed in free agency, and it was not addressed at the trade deadline. Now,
Steve, I got to give you a round of applause, man,
now
because I've been screaming that.
so I'm going to say we're 8-2. I'm happy. We're making it work. We're squeaking out some games. That's fine. But if you're going to be mad about the pass rush, go look at who we drafted. Broderick Martin. Where was he at today? Street close. We also drafted Hendon Hooker. Where's he been? IR. So those are two positions that we drafted in this past year's draft that are not making any impact on this team, where we could have drafted a pass rusher. We could have went out in free agency and got someone. We could have shipped a third-round pick for Chase Young, and we didn't. So if you guys want to be mad at anyone for this lack of pass rush, be a little critical of Brad Holmes. And this is me. I love Brad Holmes. He's the best GM the Detroit Lions have ever had. I'm not going to nail him too much, but that's probably the reason why we don't have a pass rush.
You know what? As a fan, you know why I'm not worried about our pass rush? Because consistently, what I've seen from Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes is they've taken things that are weaknesses and made them our strengths.
Yep.
So I would imagine next year we're gonna have a nasty pass rush because that's just what's happened over the years. You know, he immediately started in on okay, our O line isn't great. Hey, it will be. Hey,
we
don't have
capital on it.
Yeah, we don't have a receiving core. Okay, we will. Hey, we don't have a secondary. Okay, we will. So I'm sure that he has a plan. He's probably going to address it next season or in the draft and in the off season. I know guys like Brian Burns are going to be available, who you love and I also love. But regardless, man, whether we do it in the draft or we do it in free agency, it will get addressed. So guys, just hey, he's got us sitting at 8-2. We're winning. Aaron Glenn is getting the stops when we need to get the stops. Steve, you can vouch for this because I said it, and this is why this happened when Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears got the ball back on that last drive with 30 seconds left or whatever. I put it in my family group chat like, hey, we got to go out and play some D. And I sent a picture of Aiden Hutchinson. I did that because now the game has changed. Now you can't play those screw games.
You're dropping back and passing instead of
I almost used the no word, but yeah, you can't play those games anymore. And now you got to hold on to that ball a little longer. Now you got to stand in that pocket and make a throw. Now I can get to you. We talk about this thing being attached to a string, right? When you got a pass rush, you'll make our secondary look better. Now, if we get you in a situation where you have to stick in that pocket and make a throw, now Aiden and the boys will have a little bit of extra time to get there, get home, and make plays. This game's simple, man.
And real quick, help is on the way in the defensive backfield too, because I saw CJ Gardner Johnson was watching the game today, streaming, look hyped up, and he said 3 more weeks. 3 more weeks, maybe 2, maybe 2 more weeks. He'll be back. And we did an episode on that. I'll attach it to this video. You guys can check that out. End of the day, 8-2. Nobody's here complaining, but we are going to be critical when we see stuff that needs to get fixed up. So we talked about a lot of stuff today.
Don't go yet.
Oh, we're not leaving because I kind of want to talk about number 9.
Woo-wee. What you got for number 9?
Get him the ball more. I'm glad he got a touchdown. It was awesome. Good throw by Goff. And I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, I can't even imagine a world if J-Mo drops that ball. I'm probably gonna have to be done with him. But he made a catch for a touchdown that got us right back in the game. Defense goes out, gets a stop. I just want to see a little bit more volume. He had a nice catch to get a first down too.
Yeah, I saw that, and then the pass where he was running up the sideline. I felt like Jared kind of underthrew him.
Yeah, he threw to the wrong
he was running. Yeah, I thought he was running by him, so that could have been another huge play, and that would have been one to kind of put us ahead. So, I think he's knocking on the door, man. Just like we said, he's gonna make plays on the back half of the season, man. He's gonna continue to get better and better, and I'm excited for it.
What else you got for tonight?
I want to finish this thing on a positive note, man. 'Cause I
Ooh,
feel like we kind of got on a tangent defending AG. How about Monty, man?
revenge game. Monty's revenge.
Mm,
Because
mm.
that last drive, he was running angry.
There was
Catching the ball, running angry, running it between the tackles angry. He just looked like he wanted that win today. You could tell.
Yeah, you could tell that he decided that they were going to win that game. Don't give us an opportunity, I would imagine, is what he was saying on the sideline. Don't let us get back out there. It's over.
I tweeted that out. I said, "Don't let us get this ball back.
Uh,
Do not let us get this ball back." He looked good. Gibbs looked good. He didn't have a ton of rushing yards, but he was very good in the Goff check down game. Had some
yeah,
nice catches for some first downs. Didn't run the ball out. I think he only had like eight carries. I think I saw. I don't have the box score in front of me, but
yeah, he
overall
had 8.
solid game. You know, he didn't light the stat sheet on fire, but he got in the end zone as well.
He almost had 100 all-purpose yards. He had six receptions for 59, and then 8 for 36 and a TD.
Solid.
I ain't mad at it.
80 yards and a touchdown, and then another 70 rushing yards from Mani and whatever he had receiving. Solid game from our running backs. I think Sam Laporta looked really good today. Made some big catches when we needed a first down, especially later in the game when we were trying to get back into it. He was kind of Goff's go-to blanket. I think he kind of got away from him for a little bit.
Yeah, Laporta was not. He wasn't even at the first half. I think that
Yeah.
he stayed in the locker room the first half. But crunch time, I absolutely agree. He made some plays.
Yeah, so I mean, everyone kind of Brian Branch made some good plays today.
Mm-hmm.
He had a penalty, stupid penalty, far end of the field. Refs, all right, we're not going to get into a ref debate here, but he looked good. Yeah, it was a weak call. Like I get it, holding happens. Call it every time or don't call it at all. That's my stance on it.
Yeah.
But I like Brian Branch's game. He was spying Justin Fields early. It looked like made some nice plays. Maybe not to sack him, but to force him to throw it away. I liked that. He had some nice tackles. Solid game for Brian Branch as well. Who was your player of the game today?
Honestly, man, and it's probably going to be a hot take, but Jared Goff is my player of the game. Jared Goff, man, to bounce back from 3 interceptions, man, 4 turnovers. If you count Craig Reynolds was in there with the fumble on the kick return. All right, so 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions by Jared Goff. 2 of those interceptions not being his fault. Watch the interview after the game. He did not make any mention to the balls getting tipped, miscues with the situation with Laporta. He just said, "I gotta play better, man." So I just love his leadership. I love his poise. And anytime your quarterback does a 2-minute drill and marches you down like that, just unfazed with ice water in his veins, and I didn't have anybody else offensively that was doing anything that was super crazy. It's only 2 options for me, baby. It's that O-line or it's Jared Goff. What you think?
You mean Jared Stafford? Is that who you're referring to with this comeback win?
I love it. I love it.
I'll probably have to go with hot take. I'm probably going to go with the defense as a whole. I know a lot of people are nailing them to the cross. A lot of people aren't happy with how they played. The offense turned the ball over 3 times. Special teams turned the ball over once. 4 total turnovers, and they still made stops when they needed to. If you would have told me we gave the ball up 4 times, I would have said the Chicago Bears are probably going to hang 42 points on us.
Yeah.
We kept them in check as best we could. We gave up some touchdowns, but you got to look at where they came from. We were in the plus side of the field when we turned the ball over every single time. So They got the ball roughly around the 40. That's phenomenal field position for an offense. So hats off to the defense. Bend but don't break. They got the job done, and they stood strong. You know, when we needed them, especially that last 5 minutes of the game. So a lot of people probably won't like that, but think of it that way.
Yeah, it is what it is. Before we dial out of here, man, question. I'm not sure if you've seen the Green Bay Packers, but they won today. Love, man, he threw for 3 bills today, man. You were quick turnaround,
buddy.
You worried about those Packers?
Not at all. Come see us on Thanksgiving. We'll be here in a couple days. Short turnaround for us as well. Noon kickoff. Get ready. Get rested. Thanksgiving 8-2. The Lions first time 8-2 since like 1966 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you and me, I wasn't even scratching my daddy's underpants in 1966. So Thanksgiving is going to be a fun one. Get up there, do a little tailgating, check out the parade. Lions are 8-2, looking for 9-2. Me and Will are going to have to get together someday pretty soon here and get our game show ready because it's coming.
Quick turnaround on the game day, I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. We've talked about a lot of things today. Don't be afraid to leave a comment, and we'll get back with you guys if it's respectful and courteous. We're not going to do any trolling. We're critical, but we're 8-2 and we're thrilled. 10 out of 10. Couldn't be happier.
Facts.
That's it, guys. We'll be back tomorrow with some more content.
Peace.